What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. This is day 3 of the pond rebuild. We got Ed back with me, Ed the pond professor. As always, I'll have links in the description box down below to his channel and all of the things Ed the pond professor. And so, Ed, what are we doing today with day 3?
So day 3, we are starting to trim up the edges. So you filled it up last night. So now the water level is really close to where it's going to be finished. So I don't like trimming up the perimeter. So a little bit of a tip, especially if you're new with ponds, is you don't want to trim up the rubber membrane until you get that water level established, because now once it's full of water, we know exactly how high we can bring that rubber membrane down.
Gotcha.
So we're going to cut it back about 6 or 8 inches all the way around the perimeter.
Pulls it down, right?
Pulls it down. We're going to tuck it and roll it and kind of tuck it underneath all that existing boulder work. Then we'll trim it up with a little bit more of the river stone, small cobblestones and things like that to give it that little final touch. I think that's the right elevation.
All right, Ed, so explain what we're looking at right here.
So this main thing here, this is the biological filter. It's an upflow biological filter, which just basically explains what it is. The water flows up through the biomedia. So what we have our piping system coming from the skimmer that we put in earlier. We have that pump down in the bottom, so we have all that water that's getting drawn in from the pond is going to be discharged into the bottom. We have a watertight connection here. Then, as you can see, that there's this kind of a deep hole down in the bottom. That is a sedimentation chamber. This is going to become a living, breathing colony of microorganisms which are responsible for the detoxification of all the water from the fish waste.
Nice. So when it comes to this chamber, obviously stuff does settle out.
Correct.
What's the clean out process look like? Do I have to clean it out, or?
It does need to be cleaned out. I would recommend once a year. So what you're going to do is, first thing, you shut the pump off.
Okay.
You come in, you take that biomedia out, rinse it off, and you're going to see kind of like the bacteria, and you're going to have organic sloughing off of that media. Yeah. I do that like in the lawn or in the garden beds and things because it's nutrient-rich stuff. Okay. So cool. It's all perfect. And then that
free fertilizer.
It's a it's incredible fertilizer. Then the stuff on the bottom, you're going to see a little bit of a sediment layer down on the bottom. Scoop that material out with a shop vac or just a small cup or something like that and just kind of clean that thing up. Reassemble everything. The best time to do it in this climate, you're similar to Chicago, I would say late March through April.
Okay, cool. All right, Ed, so we're getting to the point where we're starting to kind of talk about some aquatic plants. I know that we had these in the old pond.
Right.
So show us kind of what you're going to do. So if anyone watching at home wants to maybe divide out their lilies or get some from a friend, they know what to do.
Suns good. So this is one of the chunks. We took out 100. I mean, literally, maybe more. Tons and tons of chunks. But it is a rhizome growing plant. So you can see right there, that's the main rhizome, and then you have all these root structures that are coming off. And it's going to grow in a specific direction. So what we want to do is we're going to find a nice little splitting spot right in between. We'll have 2 chunks out of here. We're basically going to take a shovel, whack it right in half.
Cool.
Again, you can see all that stuff inside of there.
Yeah.
Separate that. Now what we want to do, you can see all the gravel that's sucked up inside of there. That plant literally crept its way across the bottom, and it started growing in the sediment and within the interstitial spaces of the gravel itself.
Yeah.
What we want to do is actually plant it in a proper mixture. So an aquatic plant soil, this is designed to mimic an alluvial soil that would be found like in a floodplain along a river system, which, as you know, that's the most fertile land on the planet.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so all during those heavy spring rains, that sediment-laden water kind of breaches over the banks of the river, and it just deposits sand, clay, silt, organics, and stuff like that, and it just makes an incredible rich soil. Yep. That's exactly what this is designed to mimic. So what we have inside, when you look at it, you are going to see some of that sand, a little bit of clay that's going to stick together, and then some organics inside of there as well.
Sure.
So I have a pliable planter here. The reason I like these, you could go with the rigid ones. They're very, very easy to work with. This allows a little bit more water transfer around the outside perimeter, but it also kind of conforms to the bottom of a pond. Right. So if you have a hard, rigid pot, it's hard to kind of position it. Yeah. So this is going to conform to the bottom. So I'm going to take a little bit of the soil, put it down on the bottom. Then I'm going to take this guy and I'm just going to set it inside of here. And what we want to do, you can see this is a little bit higher than we need. We could roll this down just a bit. And then that's going to kind of change the height of that thing. But now what I want to do is just fill around it with more of this potting mixture. And then we'll top it off with a little bit of river stone. It is amazing how fast these will grow. So we'll put them in the pond, and these leaves might be 8 or 10 inches below the surface, but by the time the weekend comes, these will be at the surface. It's unbelievable. Now I'm going to take some of the larger river stone. I like to use the larger because it doesn't sink down into the soil, and it's a little bit more resistant to the fish moving it. You know, the small river rock, they can go in and they'll just pick it up and they'll move it around. This stuff is a little bit bigger, and it's going to take care of that problem for us. All right, so we are going to place the water lily in the appropriate spot. I'm going to hand it over here to Chuck. He's got his shorts on. We're going to put it on the back edge where you could see it from the main viewing area, but I also want to try to highlight that beautiful stump. So we're recreating a natural ecosystem. You go up into any of the beautiful lakes and rivers, the natural areas found around Michigan, you're going to find these shallow backwater areas, you're going to have stumps, and you're going to have stuff coming out, and then you're going to see that beautiful lily pads kind of cascading or kind of highlighting those areas. One thing that I want to do, by having it over here, I don't want it right in front of the skimmer, because we need to have a clear path for water to go from our biofilter all the way back in here. So this is going to kind of create a peninsula, which is a good thing. So the flowing water is going to come this way, it's going to sweep way over there by the patio, and then it's going to loop its way back. So it's going to kind of really create some nice flow for us. The other thing that's going to do is, remember, we put in that fish cave in this one corner. So that was just that little pocket where the fish can go, get out of the heat of the sun, also escape from potential predators. By having water lilies in and around that cave, it's kind of providing secondary cover for them. So that way they can dart in and out of the rocks, in and out of the little pockets and things like that. They could stay out of the intense sun during the summertime, and then they're also going to be able to feed in and around the plants.
All right, so we're just wrapping up, and Ed and his whole crew did an absolutely amazing job. I'm going to show you some of the pieces that I really, really love. Obviously, I love the entire thing, but there's some kind of like little kind of hidden gems about this pond that I totally love that I wanted to show you guys that I'm really excited about. And as I was telling them, the thing that I'm the most excited about is just the fact there's no mosquitoes. That's like the hugest thing. But the fact that there's other things as well to enjoy is awesome. So I'm going to show you guys that. And as I said before, all the links to Ed, the pond professor, and all aquascape and things like that will all be in the description box down below, because the response from a lot of you has been that you either want to do a DIY pond or you're looking at getting a pond, and many of you want to know where to start. So those links are a wonderful place to start. Ed and his crew are amazing people, and so I just want to kind of spread that love over to them. But we're gonna I'll show you guys around, show you kind of the 95% finished product, and then we're gonna close. We're gonna follow up with one final episode in this little mini series about 5 plants that you can grow in your pond from the grocery store. So really excited about that as well. All right, first one is obviously the lighting. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. All around here there are underwater lights, which is awesome. And then over in the corner there, you can kind of see that little brass one there, and this brass light here. These are actually like hat lights, so they will disperse the light and they come on when it gets dark. So it's great because our overhead lights also come on when it gets dark. We're just testing electricity to making sure that everything worked. So those are on right now, but they're usually on a photosensor, which is awesome. So all the lights are on a photosensor. We also have lights underneath the waterfall, which is gonna be awesome. And it is a little cloudy, but once we run the waterfall and get the filter working, it's gonna clean this up really quick. So absolutely love that. One other fine detail that I just really, really loved is this this stone here. This is actually where we can actually put our feet in. It's a deep water kind of viewing station where we can put our feet in the water on a hot day and kind of just watch the fish swim around, which is awesome. And then the third thing that's just kind of a little Easter egg that I really, really loved, I wanted to show you guys, is we actually found some fossils, and the fossils are hidden in these rocks here. So basically, wash this off here. And so there's like little fossil rocks that I absolutely love. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Oh, that's awesome. It's actually like a shell. It's a fossilized shell. Do you have a rock in there?
Did we foam it properly?
Yes, we did.
Nice.
Love it. All right, so we're here. We are finished with the pond. I am so happy with it. Ed, how do you think it came out?
Oh, I love it. I mean, from where we started, just everything kind of overgrown. A lot of things just not maintained for a decade or more, possibly, right? You know, all that sediment, the overgrowth of the plants inside the pond, as well as some of the stuff on the outside perimeter. I was glad to hear that you were going to be putting in edible plants and things like that. That gave us the opportunity to kind of pull back some of that vegetation, which opened up a lot of the sight lines, which I think is really, really important. And I love the sound of this. So working with the boulders that you had on site, we were able to position them in kind of an erratic type of a pattern, strategically locating some of those bigger boulders just to kind of highlight and accent some of the flowing areas. And I love the look of it. I mean, the mix of all that stuff, a little bit of driftwood added in there, add a little bit of extra dimension, and awesome.
No, Sean was saying you're a master at working those boulders. I was really impressed. You had to set them there, and you know, it's kind of, it takes a lot of faith to fuse them in place and be like, that's gonna work. And like, I don't have that much faith in myself, but hey, that's why you're the professional.
That's why you're 29 years.
At the pond professor.
Exactly.
So yeah, but no, we're super happy with it. I cannot thank Ed and his whole team enough. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. It was super awesome to see everyone come together around this project. And like you said, I mean, it was a huge undertaking in basically 2.5 days to go from an overgrown existing pond, tear it all out, and then put in a new, like that's double the work, if not more. And they did it, and it's absolutely amazing. So again, I just want to thank you guys so very much for coming out.
I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure working with you, getting to know you a little bit. It was a blast working with you as well as all the certified aquascape contractors. I think it came out phenomenal. I can't wait to see what you do around it, because I know that's going to take it to the next level.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll post links in the description box down below to everything aquascape and Ed the Pond Professor, so you can check it out, learn more. And then we're going to follow up with a 4th and final episode. You don't want to miss it. We're going to go around. We're going to talk about 5 plants that you can get at the grocery store that you can grow in your pond, which I think is going to be really cool. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So, as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home. We'll see you later. Bye.